I'm Angie Beto with Town Square Buzz, and welcome back as we continue our conversation with Steve Bell, who is running for City Council at large position. Mr. Bell, thank you for joining us again, and we appreciate you being willing to talk with us as we look more deeply into some of the issues that you feel are important to our city as we grow. How do you see economic development as fitting into our future, and how important is that for our sustainability?
Well, one, it's extremely important because if we don't bring in the commercial tax base that we need, then the burden falls on all the house owners, the homeowners here, to burden the expense of operating the city. And we've been in an imbalance for a long time. We need to be in that 50-50 range, which is 50% residential, 50%
commercial.
In commercial. And as much as I like shopping and buying and looking at new cars, they don't bring us a lot, as far as city sales tax. And so we need to look at things that do bring us the type of sales tax that we need. And we need to put on an aggressive face when we go out there to approach these people. We need to do a professional job in selling the people and why they should be here at McKinney. And some good examples of that are guys like Mark McAndrews at Torchmark, and Vern Herbal, who's the CFO there. They recognize the part of that, and they like being located in Stonebridge. But we need to make sure that other people are happy and are pleased, and it's real difficult to understand all the reasonings why you lose a Cabela's, or you lose an Andrews Distributing, or you even lose something like a Cracker Barrel to another city. I mean, is it because we're too difficult to get along with? Is it because our architectural standards are too stringent to allow them to do what they need to do? Or have we been strapped to cash in such a way that we've used on other things that we couldn't help, support these people? But those are the kind of businesses that we need. We need not just the retail establishments for our own people, but for tax dollars to come in from Fairview, Allen, Plano, Frisco, and this type of thing. Every day, I mean, we go to, Fairview and Allen to eat because of the wide choice of the restaurants and that. And I think about how much of a tax loss do we actually have, because we don't have it here. We had the opportunity right here on Highway 5 with Gateway Development, because the same people that built Waters Creek or Waters Crossing was going to do the same thing over here next to our Coles. But yet we decided that, well, maybe the conference center was a little bit more. And I really objected to the wrongful condemnation of that property, to be able to give that property to ONS to be able to build this thing on, because that helped stifle what we were doing. We could have already had that Waters Crossing look-alike right here in McKinney as another little central town center full of restaurants, full of apartment houses, and attracting the people as far away as Durant, Oklahoma to come down. I mean, I'm out sitting at Landon's last week with my wife, and sitting next to me was a couple from Whitesboro. They come down every other weekend to come and visit. Well, we have this opportunity, and believe me, our city square is a jewel.
Yes, it is.
There is not another one like that in the state of Texas. And we owe such a debt of gratitude to guys like Don Day, George Bush, Jim Swalls, Robert O'Donnell, Tom Meredith, that have put their money where their mouth is, and have literally, Rick Wells, developing that downtown section. And it took us so long. We actually adopted the infrastructure to do those streets back in 2001. How long did that take? A long time to get that done. But look what we've got out of that. And then the other thing we've got, first, number one historic district in the state of Texas. Unfortunately, we got that because of the storm in Galveston, but we were number 2, and we need to play on that. We need to build that up. We need to bring people in. The Collin County Airport. We need commuter flights out of there. When I was on council, we spent the money to broaden and lengthen the runway, already looking ahead, toward commuter flight or airplane associated industry to bring out there. And we need to figure out how to keep those people at the airport so that we can attract these other people and bringing the jets in. There's a tremendous tax base off of the jets. And then you look at Craig Ranch. Craig Ranch is another ideal, a southern town central, where we have the same type of thing that we can do as Legacy Town Center. And then with the TPC golf course, we ought to be attracting people right and left. And then you've got another one, which I think is an up-and-comer, and I know it's struggled, but that's Adriatica. Where else do we have anything like this? I mean, what a landmark with just the bell tower. Not too fond of the parking garage, but I think that will change eventually. And so that's another area that we have that can be another one of these destination points. So when we start looking at what we have to offer other people, we've got them. We just need to polish them up. We need to promote them, advertise them, and get it out there. And that's what helps attract other businesses, because they add to the amenity of life, that quiet enjoyment that executives want and they want for their personnel. And we need to be actively out pursuing those people.
I wanted to go back a minute to the comment you made about the Gateway project.
Yes, ma'am.
I think in all fairness, we have to look at the fact that no one predicted the economy would be in the position that it's in right now, and starting in 2008 when the developer ONS went bankrupt. So what would you have done differently about that Gateway project?
Well, first of all, obviously the economic condition affects that.
Yes.
But quite honestly, and this is just my opinion,
sure,
when you start a project off wrong, it's going to go wrong. It is wrong to take someone else's property away and give it to another person. It's wrong to have closed door meetings to talk about all these things. It's wrong for a property owner to say, hey, you do this, I'll pay you guys legal fees and I'll pay the money and we'll work something out to pay to this property owner. Those are the wrong types of things. And when you have council members and city management and other people that are behind these closed doors, including MEDC, behind closed doors trying to cut some type of deal like that, that is wrong. And you know yourself, when lawsuits start flying, who's going to lose? The citizens are the one that's losing, and the tax and the lawyers are doing all the game. But you know what that's cost us as taxpayers? But that's it. We have to do a study now just to see if that steel statue that we have down there, concrete statue, is worth anything, or we're going to have to tear it down. That's a big expense to the cities, to the citizens. When we could be using that money, if they'd have done it right the first time, then we wouldn't have lawsuits. We wouldn't have all this black eye that's there. We wouldn't have this eyesore as you enter into McKinney. We would already have a growing concern. But it goes from what I told you earlier about doing the right thing. That the popular thing not necessarily is the right thing. You've got to dig down under and drill down and find out what's the objective here. What is it that we're truly trying to do? Why do we go out of our way to realign gas lines and that type of thing so that we can condemn a man's property? Personally, I think that's un-American, and the state of Texas said so too.
Well, yes, that's a whole other topic for another day, certainly.
That's right, but it's that type of thing, and then you add the economic piece to it.
So is the economic development piece, in your mind, the biggest issue that McKinney faces in the next 5 to 10 years, or what do you feel that issue would be?
Well, if we don't do something from a commercial growth standpoint, then you and I are going to have to shoulder that burden of responsibility. It costs a lot for city services and that. And, gosh, I hate to see the complexion of the city change, but we have to move out of this bedroom mentality of Dallas and look at being a commercial zone. I mean, we are the county seat.
Yes, we are.
And with that comes
our own identity.
That's right. It is our identity, but we've got to be self-sufficient. We've got to be able to provide parks. We've got to be able to provide schools, through our sales tax dollars. We've got to provide infrastructure that we desperately need in a lot of places. I mean, we've got projects on hold right now just because we don't have the money. But then we make these mistakes. Like, I'm going to go back to Gateway 121. Look at the drain. I mean, what is it? Is it 5 million, 6 million, 10 million, 20 million? I haven't heard what the total number is.
I don't know yet either.
But it's high. But whatever it is, that money we could have spent on better projects if we'd have better managed that project and have done it with eyes wide open, doing the way any honorable businessman would do it, and it would have paid off for the citizens.
Okay, so that all being said,
yes, ma'am.
As you mentioned earlier, last year McKinney was selected by Money Magazine as the 5th best place to live in the country. So let's just say money was no object, and you had a magic wand that you could wave. What is one thing you would change about our city?
From a cosmetic standpoint, or from
whatever you feel is most important.
Well, there are a number of things that I think. One is just the overall appearance, the drive-through appealability, I guess you could say. Making you feel like, hey, I've arrived at some place really different.
Okay.
A Highway 5 initiative.
Which the council now
they're working on that, but we worked on it in 2002.
Okay.
So I mean, this is an ongoing deal, but it's all money related. So
right, it is.
That's the problem.
And that project is now in play.
You can only stretch $1 so far. So what we need is more dollars. We've got the 380 initiative. An example I've got laying here on my desk. TxDOT is giving us $1.2 million worth of plants to beautify the new 75 that's coming through. And all they ask the city of McKinney to do is maintain it. Well, we don't have the money to maintain it. That's what council's told me. So what do we do? Is it just stay barren? If we can't maintain it, TxDOT's not going to give us the money for the plants. They're not going to supply the plants. So there's a real problem there. So I say, you need to go find whatever that number is, and somebody tossed out to me the other day about $300,000 a year to maintain it. But does it make any sense that when you enter the corridor at 635 and 75 to drive through, and you see all the lovely landscaping for Richardson, Plano, Allen, Fairview, and then all of a sudden you come to this barren strip of land? With nothing on it, and then you get down here on the other side of Grayson County, and it starts back up again.
But as a council person, you're going to have to make that decision to choose between landscaping, for example, or paying our fire and police.
Well, that's exactly right, and absolutely, beyond a shadow of a doubt, our personnel come first, because we can't function. What I'm talking about, though, are other programs and other things that we've done in wasteful spending.
Thanks again for joining us for part 2 of our interview, and for taking time to talk to us, Mr. Bell.
Yes, ma'am.
Please join us again. We'll continue the last segment of our interview with Steve Bell on Town Square Buzz, and we'll get even deeper into some important issues that our city faces in the upcoming years.